everyone. So today we're going to focus on the core group. So again, moving through those three poses, mild, medium, intense. That mild is redo, the medium is madhya, and the intense is adimatra. And I mentioned this in one video, it has less to do with the physical intensity of the posture, but you have to start with that physical foundation, having a strong physical pose. But the Mridu Madhya Adimatra, why they're sequenced that way, has more to do with the energetic body and how you're supporting the physical body from an energetic place. So for those of you who have played with those energetic bandhas, can start to incorporate them here. Otherwise, we'll just keep this simple, we'll keep this more on the physical level, but knowing that that's eventually where it's going is energetic, more subtle. So we'll start in that mild pose, that Mridu pose. So for core group, it can start right on hands and knees. You want to set the knees under the hips, shoulders over wrists, or wrists just slightly forward of your shoulders. And then you're going to lift your right leg and send it back behind you. Okay, a lot of times when this leg lifts, there's a tendency to lift that leg too high and kind of settle into that opposite hip. So it's not really about the height of the leg. Right, watch my hips. My hips don't change as I send that leg back. Right, you're trying to avoid this and kind of like this leg way high. Trying to minimize the movement of the hips of the pelvis. You draw your lower abdomen in so you're not sagging into the whole back. And then your left arm can stretch forward. And you can spend 5 breaths on the first side. And then you'll switch sides. Okay, back to hands and knees. Okay, check the pelvis, minimize the movement of your pelvis, of your hips, as you start to stretch the left leg back now. So the lift is coming from this inner left thigh rather than the outer hip. Sometimes it's easier to see what the hips are doing when I do it like this. So this right hip may want to pop out, that left hip may want to lift up. So then you're pulling the inner left leg up, right hip in. So that right hip pushes towards the left hip. And then your right arm can stretch forward. Okay, notice if you're collapsing here, you're going to press out of that left shoulder, press the low back towards the ceiling. And then nice active fingers, nice active feet. Really both hands, both feet are equally active. After 5 breaths, you come down. That madhya level, that medium level, would be with the knees off the mat and the body chest facing the mat. So it could be from downward facing dog, or it could be from plank pose. And just lifting one leg up into the air. And again, notice if the hips want a slight openness. So we're no longer using the core as much. And try to keep the hips squared. And lift right inner thigh to the ceiling, left outer hip to the ceiling. And keep pressing, like I mentioned in the downward dog video, out of the shoulders. Trying to lift out of your hands. After 5 breaths, switch sides. And then press out of the shoulders. Try to lift your right toes so you're sinking that right heel down. Nice and active through both feet. And then come down. And then coming into that adimatra level pose would be from plank. You can take Vashisthasana, side plank. And try to avoid moving. A lot of times there's that cue to move the hand to the center of the mat, but you're actually losing the strength of the foundation if you have to move one point of the foundation that's already set. So keeping the hands set, keeping the feet together, it's just a pivot onto the outer edge of first your left foot And that right arm can reach up. And avoid letting the hips come too low. You're actually trying to keep the hips more in line with the shoulders. Because full Vashisthasana is essentially trying to grab that right big toe and send it up. So the side bodies are staying long. If my hips were too low here, it would be pinching that top side. So you're lifting up, away. Okay. After 5 breaths, again, plank pose, and then it's just that pivot to the outer right foot. Okay. Press out of your right shoulder, flex the feet. Okay. Maybe you're going for that grab of the left big toe. Okay. And it's up with the hand, up with the toe, up with the hips. And maybe a breather in downward dog. Maybe a vinyasa. Okay. So that is that core group for focusing on those 3 levels. And then feel free, I hope you can join me tomorrow from 10 to 11:30. I'm going to be doing a live class on Facebook and Instagram. All right, let me know if you have questions. Be well.